Valerie pressed her hand against her growing belly, staring at the ultrasound image pinned to their refrigerator. 6 months since the vow renewal. 6 months of genuine peace and happiness. 6 months of believing they'd finally escaped the nightmare. She was 12 weeks pregnant. Kim Young wrapped his arms around her from behind, resting his chin on her shoulder. She's going to be beautiful, just like her mother. Hope, Valerie whispered, touching the grainy image. Our little hope. Our miracle, he agreed. Neither of them knew that miracles sometimes come with a price too terrible to pay. Before we dive into this continuation, if you loved episode 1, smash that like button right now. This episode gets intense, and you won't believe where this story goes. The doctor's office. Dr. Song's expression told them everything before she even spoke. Valerie gripped Kim Young's hand as they sat across from the doctor who'd guided them through hell and back. The genetic testing results came back, Dr. Song said, sliding papers across her desk. The experimental drug Kim Young took 6 years ago, it didn't just alter his endocrine system. It changed his DNA. Kim Young's face went pale. What does that mean? It means there's an 87% probability that your daughter will be born with a variant of your condition. Dr. Song's professional mask slipped slightly, revealing something that looked almost like pity. She may require the same extreme physical needs to regulate her system. Possibly worse because she'll have it from birth. Her body won't know any other way to function. The room tilted. Valerie couldn't breathe. You're saying we'd be condemning our daughter to a lifetime of the same struggle I faced, Kim Young finished, his voice hollow. Or worse. Dr. Song pulled out more charts. There's also the question of Mrs. Kim's health. Valerie, your body has undergone significant changes from the prolonged supplement regimen. Even though you stopped taking them 18 months ago, we're seeing dependency markers in your blood work. What kind of dependency? Valerie asked, though part of her already knew. Your neurochemistry has adapted. During pregnancy, as your hormone levels shift, you're experiencing what we'd classify as withdrawal syndrome. It's subtle now, but by the 3rd trimester, it could become life-threatening for both you and the baby. Kim Young stood abruptly. There has to be a solution. Treatment, something. There is, Dr. Song said carefully. A pharmaceutical company has developed a gene therapy that could correct the baby's DNA in utero. It's experimental, but the success rate in trials is promising. Hope flared in Valerie's chest. Then we do it, whatever it costs. Dr. Song's pause lasted too long. The treatment would require sustained high-dose intervention throughout the pregnancy. The side effect is permanent infertility for the mother. This baby would be your only biological child. The hope died as quickly as it had sparked. That night, Kim Young found Valerie in the transformed library room, surrounded by baby books she could no longer bear to read. We don't have to decide tonight, he said softly. Don't we? She looked up at him, with tears streaming down her face. Every day we wait is another day our daughter's condition solidifies. Every day I carry her is another day my body becomes more dependent on medications I can't take while pregnant. I never wanted this for you, for our child. I should have. Don't. Valerie stood, placing her hands on his chest. Don't you dare say you should have stayed away. We chose each other. We fought for this. But now we have to fight again, he finished. Together. She wanted to believe him, but the weight of impossible choices was already crushing her. The blackmail. The letter arrived 2 days later. Hand-delivered, unmarked envelope. Kim Young read it 3 times before his hands started shaking. We know about the cure. We know about the baby. We know everything. Surrender your research on the experimental drug treatment, or we expose your condition to the world. You have 72 hours. New management, YK Pharmaceuticals. They sold the company. Valerie read over his shoulder. I thought you still had controlling interest. I did. I do. Unless... He pulled out his phone, making rapid calls. 10 minutes later, his face had gone gray. Someone orchestrated a hostile takeover while I was recovering in Jeju. They used shell corporations. By the time I noticed, they owned 49%. Who? I don't know yet, no, but they've been planning this for months, maybe years. He looked at the letter again. They want my research, everything I documented about my condition, the treatments, the cure. If they get it, they could weaponize it, Valerie finished. Create more people like you, intentionally. The thought made her sick. Kim Young's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. The attack on your penthouse wasn't random. Check the security footage from that night again. Pay attention to the lead guard who saved Valerie. They pulled up the archived footage. Watched it frame by frame. And there, so subtle they'd missed it the first 100 times, the lead security guard glancing directly at a camera and nodding before finding Valerie in the safe room. He knew exactly where to look, Kim Young breathed, because someone told him. Someone on the inside. Another text. 3 of your ex-wives were corporate plants. Guess which 3? Valerie felt cold wash over her. The cafe meeting, G1. She asked too many specific questions about our boundaries, our treatments, our routines. I thought she was just concerned, but she was gathering intelligence. Kim Young's expression hardened. They've been studying me for years. The wives who couldn't handle it were actually documenting everything. Building a case study. Collecting data. For what purpose? To replicate the condition, to control it, to sell it. His voice turned bitter. Imagine soldiers who don't need sleep. Athletes with unlimited stamina. Workers who never tire. They'd make billions. And their daughter would be the perfect test subject. Born into the condition. Documented from day 1. Valerie ran to the bathroom and vomited. The betrayal, Dr. Song requested an emergency meeting the next morning. Valerie and Kim Young arrived to find her office filled with camera equipment, recording devices, and stacks of files marked confidential. What is this? Kim Young demanded. Dr. Song didn't look apologetic. A comprehensive medical study of extended experimental drug exposure and its treatment. This is groundbreaking research, Kim Young. Do you understand what we've accomplished? You're the only person in the world who's survived this condition for more than 3 years. You've been treated successfully. You're having a child despite genetic alterations. This needs to be documented, published, shared with the medical community. You've been recording us? Valerie's voice shook. Our private medical sessions? Our most vulnerable moments? With security cameras you authorize for the treatment rooms, Dr. Song said coolly. I've broken no laws, and I've changed your names in the documentation. This is about science, not exploitation. You recorded me begging you to let me die, Kim Young said quietly, dangerously. You recorded my wife crying while you told her she'd never have more children. You recorded our most intimate medical details, and you call it science? I call it saving lives. There are others like you, suffering in silence. My research could help them. Your research could destroy them, Valerie shouted. Once this is published, pharmaceutical companies will know it's possible. They'll start creating more cases deliberately. You're not helping people. You're opening Pandora's box. Dr. Song stood. The paper is already submitted. Journal of Experimental Medicine. It publishes in 2 weeks. I came here as a courtesy to inform you. Kim Young's phone buzzed again. Another text from the unknown number. Dr. Song works for us. Always has. 72 hours is now 48. Valerie's sister called that afternoon, her voice tight with anger. I found something in Mom's medical files, she said without preamble. Records from your marriage contract. Valerie, what the hell is this? What are you talking about? Medical evaluations for physical stamina compatibility? Monthly health assessments for endurance monitoring? It reads like... Her sister's voice broke. It reads like he bought you as a sex slave. It's not like that. Then what is it like? Because Dad just spent 3 hours crying after reading these files. He thinks he sold you. Mom wants you to come home immediately. They're offering to return every penny, Valerie. All of it. The medical, bills, the restaurant renovation, everything. They'd rather lose it all than know you're... I'm happy, Valerie interrupted. I'm married. I'm pregnant. I love him. You love your kidnapper. It's called a Stockholm Syndrome. You don't understand. Then make me understand. Because right now, all I see is my little sister trapped in some sick arrangement that's literally killing her. The medical notes say you were hospitalized for physical depletion, multiple times. That's not love, Valerie. That's abuse. After she hung up, Valerie stared at her phone for a long time. Was her sister right? Had she been so desperate to justify her choices that she'd convinced herself captivity was love? No, she knew the difference. She'd lived both. But explaining that to her family felt impossible. Kim Young's mother arrived unannounced that evening, sweeping into their penthouse with her usual imperious grace and a lawyer in tow. "I've come to discuss your future," Mrs. Kim announced, settling onto their sofa like she owned it. Or rather, the lack thereof. "Mother, I've arranged your marriage to Prosecutor Yoon's daughter. She's 28, Seoul National University educated, from an excellent family. The wedding is set for 3 months from now." Valerie felt the room tilt. "He's already married. To me." Mrs. Kim's smile was thin and cruel. "Are you? I've had my lawyers review the paperwork. Your marriage was filed under a contract classification that isn't recognized as binding under Korean family law. It's more of a business arrangement. Legally, my son is still single." "That's not possible," Kim Young said, but his voice lacked certainty. The lawyer opened a briefcase, pulling out documents. "The contract marriage you signed with Miss Park was registered as a private domestic service agreement, not a formal marriage. This was likely done by the marriage agency to avoid complications. The American side may recognize it, but Korea does not. You've been living in what amounts to a common law situation. Which means," Mrs. Kim continued smoothly, "you can simply end the agreement and move forward. I'll take care of Miss Park and her pregnancy. Generous settlement, non-disclosure agreement. She'll be quite comfortable." "No," Kim Young said flatly. "Then you'll lose everything. Your inheritance, 46 billion won? Your company shares? I still control 35% through the family trust. Your position as CEO, I'll have you removed from every board, every committee. You'll be left with nothing." She stood, straightening her Chanel jacket. "And before you think I'm being cruel, understand this. I was the one who enrolled you in those experimental trials." The silence was deafening. "What?" Kim Young's voice was barely a whisper. "You were always weak. Sickly as a child. I wanted to make you strong. And the pharmaceutical company promised me they could enhance your physical capabilities, make you superior. I paid them 50 million won to include you in their military enhancement program. I thought I was helping you become the son I needed you to be." Valerie watched Kim Young's world shatter in real time. "You did this to me intentionally? I didn't know the side effects would be so severe. But yes, and now I'm trying to fix my mistake. Marry the Yoon girl. Produce legitimate heirs with a proper Korean woman. Let Miss Park go back to her family with enough money to live comfortably. This is mercy, not cruelty." After she left, Kim Young sat in silence for 20 minutes before speaking. "She destroyed my life to make me her perfect heir. And when I became a monster instead, she wants to discard me and start over." Valerie had no words that could touch that kind of pain. The lawsuit arrived by courier the next morning. Park Soo-jin versus Kim Young. Civil suit for damages, assault, psychological torture, and unlawful imprisonment. Park Soo-jin, his first wife, the one who disappeared 6 years ago. "She's been institutionalized," Kim Young read from the attached psychiatric evaluation. "Severe PTSD, sexual trauma, depression, suicidal ideation, all attributed to her 3-month marriage to me." The media picked up the story within hours. By evening, it was trending on every Korean news site and social media platform. Pharmaceutical, CEO's dark secret, multiple women harmed fourth wife speaks. I didn't know what I was signing up for. Corporate elite uses contract marriages to hide abuse. The narrative was set. Kim Young was a predator. The women were victims. Valerie was either incredibly naive or complicit. Reporters camped outside their building. Kim Young's office was flooded with calls. The company's stock dropped 18% in a single day. And through it all, Valerie felt her body growing weaker. The pregnancy was draining her in ways that felt abnormal, unnatural. Dr. Song had been right. Her body was in withdrawal and the baby was paying the price. If you're still watching, hit that like button right now because what happens next will shock you. A pharmaceutical company called GeneBridge contacted them with a cure, genetic therapy that could be administered to the baby in utero. Cost, $10 million and Kim Young's research. Who runs GeneBridge? Kim Young asked. An elderly Korean man appeared on screen. He had Kim Young's eyes. Hello, son. Kim Young went white. Father? 28 years. I left because I couldn't live with your mother's obsession. I built GeneBridge to help people like you. I'm dying, pancreatic cancer, and I want to do one thing right, but you must publicly denounce your mother and testify against her. The offer would save their baby, but destroy what remained of Kim Young's family. A private investigator revealed the drug was Milstam 7, a military enhancement compound. Kim Young wasn't the only victim. 17 others existed. All their mothers had been paid to enroll sons in trials. Mrs. Kim had been conned, then spent 6 years hiding the truth. Valerie's health crisis came suddenly. 22 weeks pregnant, she collapsed in the transformed library room, seizing. Kim Young found her convulsing on the floor, blood trickling from where she'd bitten her tongue. He screamed for help, called emergency services, held her while her body betrayed her. At the hospital, doctors worked frantically. The baby's heartbeat was irregular. Valerie's brain activity showed seizure patterns. Her body was shutting down. It's the withdrawal, Dr. Song, who'd shown up despite everything, confirmed. Her neurochemistry is destabilizing. We need to make a decision now. We can try to stabilize her with medications that might harm the baby, or we can induce early delivery, but at 22 weeks, she won't survive, Kim Young finished. The baby might not. Mrs. Kim definitely won't without intervention. He looked at Valerie, unconscious and fighting for life. Looked at the monitor showing their daughter's struggling heartbeat. 2 lives, 1 choice. Save Valerie, he said, whatever it takes. Dr. Song nodded, already moving. We'll use the medications. But Mr. Kim, you need to understand, if she survives this, her body will be dependent on these drugs for the rest of the pregnancy, possibly longer. She'll essentially have a managed version of what you had. Do you understand what that means? He understood. It meant Valerie would suffer the way he had suffered. It meant their daughter would be born into a family where both parents carried curses. It meant everything they'd fought for was collapsing. But she would live. That had to be enough. Valerie woke 3 days later to find Kim Young asleep in the chair beside her hospital bed, holding her hand. The IV in her arm was attached to a pump delivering constant medication. The monitor beside her showed 2 heartbeats, hers and their daughter's. Hey, she whispered. He jerked awake, eyes red-rimmed. You're okay. Thank God, you're okay. The baby? Still fighting, like her mother. Valerie looked at the IV pump. What am I on? He told her. All of it. The medications, the dependency, the long-term implications. She listened without interrupting, processing the reality of her new normal. So I have it too now, she said finally, a version of your condition. I'm so sorry. Don't be. She placed her hand over her belly, feeling the small flutter of movement. We're survivors, remember? All 3 of us. We'll figure this out. But even as she said it, she wondered if there was a limit to how much 2 people could survive before they simply broke. The conspiracy G1 revealed herself, the second wife, working against the company. They recruited me to spy, but I saw a victim, not a monster. I've been collecting evidence ever since. She showed them files on illegal trials, cover-ups, 17 victims. If we expose this, you'll lose all privacy. Ever. Valerie thought of the victims. We burn it all down. But Valerie had her own confession. My friend, who recommended the marriage agency, was paid by YK Pharmaceuticals. They selected me specifically because my psychological profile showed I'd stay. Kim Young's expression shuddered. Our entire relationship was corporate manipulation. No. Get out. 3 days of silence. Then a message. Kim Young had accepted his father's offer. The press conference was scheduled. He was moving forward without her. Kim Young's father met her at Jean Bridge. Before treatment, watch this. Security footage from 6 years ago showed young Kim Young at trial enrollment. They showed him Valerie's file, a compatible match for post-trial support. No, he said on screen. Destroy this. I won't manipulate someone's life. If I suffer consequences, they're mine alone. He'd protected her before they'd even met. Why didn't you tell me? She asked when Kim Young appeared. I was ashamed they'd even considered it. When you told me about your friend being paid, I thought I'd failed to protect you. The love is real, she said. The choice to stay is real? Is it enough? It has to be. Gene therapy began the next day. Press conference scheduled for week's end. The first wife's lawsuit still pending. Pharmaceutical conspiracy about to explode. Kim Young's mother facing criminal charges. Media circus building to crescendo. Valerie's body grew weaker despite medications. Her dependency deepening. The night before the conference, they lay in the Jean Bridge medical suite, watching their daughter move on the ultrasound screen. Whatever happens tomorrow, Kim Young said, I want you to know I'd do it all again. Every moment of suffering, every sacrifice, just to have this. Me too, Valerie whispered, even knowing the cost. Their daughter kicked, hope, their miracle, their future, if they survived what was coming. The press conference room packed with every major outlet, international media, cameras everywhere. Kim Young's father sat flanked by lawyers. Kim Young and Valerie together, hands clasped. Mrs. Kim sat front row, fury and shame warring on her face. Jiwon brought her files. Other victims sat in a special section. Dr. Song provided testimony for immunity. Kim Young's father approached the microphone. The room fell silent. 28 years ago, I abandoned my family. Today, I reveal the consequences of that cowardice and my wife's ambition. The room erupted. Truth spilled out. Illegal trials, military drug, 17 victims, conspiracy, cover-up. Kim Young stood. My name is Kim Young. I am a victim of Millstam 7. For 6 years, the door burst open. Armed contractors flooded in. Nobody move! This is national security. You're all under arrest. Chaos. Screaming. Contractors confiscating everything. This was government-backed, military-sanctioned, more powerful than imagined. The contractor grabbed Kim Young. You're coming with us. Valerie lunged forward. Pain exploded. Blood seeped through her dress. The baby? She gasped. Kim Young caught her as she collapsed, his arms strong despite everything. Get a doctor. Now! She needs help immediately. Step away from her, sir. This is an order. She's pregnant. She's bleeding. She needs medical attention right now or she'll die. Step away, or we will use force against you. The room spun violently. Valerie felt wetness spreading rapidly across her dress. Felt her daughter's movements becoming frantic, desperate, wrong. Felt her body trying to expel the pregnancy too early, too wrong. Please, she whispered. Please, our baby. The contractor's radio crackled. A voice. Orders from above. Take Kim Young and his father. Leave the girl. She's not important. She's dying, Kim Young roared. Then she'll die quietly. Move. They dragged him away. Dragged his father. Rounded up Jiwon and the other victims. Left Valerie bleeding on the floor while reporters watched in helpless horror. Their devices confiscated, their footage seized. Dr. Song pushed through the crowd, dropping beside Valerie. We need to get her to surgery. Now. The baby's in distress. As they lifted her onto a stretcher, Valerie's vision blurred. She reached out toward where they'd taken Kim Young, but he was already gone. Kim Young, she whispered. Our daughter... Everything went black. 3 days later, Valerie woke in a hospital room, alone. No baby monitor, no pregnancy sounds, just silence. A nurse entered, saw her awake, and quickly left. Moments later, a doctor appeared. Not Dr. Song. Someone new. Mrs. Kim? the doctor said carefully. You've been unconscious for 3 days. There was significant trauma. We had to make emergency decisions. My baby? Valerie said. Where's my daughter? The doctor's expression told her everything before the words came. I'm so sorry. We couldn't save her. The stress, the trauma, your body's condition, it was too much. We lost her heartbeat during surgery. There was nothing we could do. The world ended. Not dramatically. Not with screams or tears. Just ended. Quietly. Completely. And Kim Young? She heard herself ask from very far away. I don't have information about that. But she knew. He was gone. Taken by the government or the military or whoever controlled the secrets that had destroyed them all. Gone. She lay in that hospital bed, alone, having lost her daughter and her husband in one terrible moment and understood the true price of fighting monsters. Sometimes the monsters win. The door opened again. A woman in a government suit entered, carrying documents. Mrs. Kim, I'm here to discuss your situation. You've been through significant trauma, and we're prepared to offer comprehensive support. Medical care, financial compensation, a fresh start. In exchange for? Silence. A non-disclosure agreement. You forget everything that happened at that press conference. You forget the trials, the conspiracy. You go back to America, rebuild your life, and never speak of this again. Valerie looked at her with empty eyes. And if I refuse? The woman's smile was cold. Then you'll join your husband in a very dark place where people who know too much tend to disappear. The choice is yours. She placed the documents on the bedside table. You have 24 hours to decide. I suggest you choose wisely. After she left, Valerie stared at the papers, at the promise of safety and silence, at the threat of joining Kim Young in whatever hell they'd taken him to. Her hand went to her empty belly, to the daughter who would never draw breath, to the future that had died before it began. And she made her choice. To be continued. Did Valerie sign? Did she fight? Is Kim Young alive? What happened to their daughter, or is there something the government isn't telling her? Episode 3 drops next week, and the truth will destroy everything you think you know. Subscribe now so you don't miss what happens next. Drop a comment telling us what you would do in Valerie's situation, and smash that like button if this episode had you on the edge of your seat.